You guys, we're going to hop out of that trial for just a little bit. We will take you back to it, but we want to alert you on some breaking news where a passenger is stuck at an amusement park, Six Flags America to be exact, in the DC area. So let's pull this up for you guys right now. Someone's stuck on one of these roller coasters that you see here. People on the ground looking up, probably, calling emergency crews, taking pictures, trying to figure out what exactly happened here today. We are working to get you guys the latest details, but you're watching this live right now on the Fox News Now stream. Okay, everybody, keeping you updated here on the latest. 24 people stuck on Joker's Jinx roller coaster at Six Flags America. Again, the name of that roller coaster is Joker's Jinx roller coaster, and that's at the Six Flags America. Prince George's County fire officials say 24 riders are stuck aboard a stalled roller coaster at the Six Flags America theme park in Bowie. A high-angle rescue team is working to rescue the riders on the Joker's Jinx ride right now. Also, a photo posted on social media shows the riders several stories in the air of the stalled roller coaster. Yeah, they are several stories in the air, as you guys can see right now. You're getting live footage from the chopper there, where passengers are stuck right now. You guys, this is the time where people start going to amusement parks. This is not the first time we've covered a situation where riders are stuck. Working to get more information about this for you guys. Give me one moment. Pulling up the latest. We appreciate you guys watching with us live here on Fox News Now YouTube stream, as well as Fox 10 Phoenix Facebook Live. Thanks for watching with us live here on Fox 10 Phoenix Facebook page, as well as Fox News Now YouTube stream. Any comments, questions, concerns about this stream today as we're showing you this live breaking news, tweet us at our show handle. That's Fox 10 News Now. Again, everybody, passengers are stuck on this ride. This is at Six Flags America in Bowie, Maryland right now. We know that 24 people are stuck on the Joker's Jinx roller coaster. That's the name of the ride there. Again, Prince George's County fire officials say that 24 riders are stuck on this ride that's stalled right now. Now, a high-angle rescue team is working to rescue the riders on this Joker's Jinx ride. A photo posted on social media shows the riders several stories in the air, and as you guys can see this from the news chopper, they are very high up right now. This is probably right, you can see right when they're going around, and they were just about to make a drop on that ride, probably right where the scary part was just about to happen there, and the ride stalled. So, you know, if there's going to be any part that's going to happen, at least they weren't upside down, or any part, you know, where you're really scared on this ride. Looks like they were just coming around the bend there, and they were about to go down and take a wild ride here. Again, this is at the Six Flags America Park. And if you guys are wondering, Joker's Jinx is located in the Gotham City section of the park near Superman Ride of Steel roller coaster. Here comes emergency crews on the scene right now. A lot of people are on the ground as well, posting photos on social media, writing statuses, stuck in the air, hashtag Six Flags. We also have some tweets coming in from the chief spokesperson for the fire department there, Mark Brady. So I'm going to pull up some tweets from him to get those updates officially from emergency crews there. So let me pull this up for you guys. So take a look. Here's the tweet from Mark Brady, again, the official spokesperson for the fire department there. Again, this is in Prince George County, Maryland, or I guess we should say Bowie, Maryland, where this is happening. And take a look at the tweet in the upper corner of your screen. He says, "Riders are upright. No one appears to be in distress." Yeah, you know, they were probably really scared at first, and now it's more just a waiting game until they can get down safely. If anyone has experienced this before, have you ever been on a roller coaster where you are stalled and you have to be helped down, or, you know, the ride official has to somehow re-rack the ride and get it started over? Let us know in the comment section on Fox 10 Phoenix Facebook page. We'd love to hear your story, or in the live chat section on our YouTube stream. Let us know, has this ever happened to you? This would seem like a rare case, but we've actually streamed situations like this before on our show here where riders are stuck. This is the sort of thing that happens, and it is the season now where people are going to the amusement park more often. And this one is at the Six Flags America in Bowie, Maryland. Pulling up some more tweets here from Mark Brady, again, the chief spokesperson for the fire department there. He tweeted this as well. Let's pull this up for you guys. Confirming that the Six Flags DC Joker's Jinx ride has stalled with 24 riders on board, developing a plan of action. Again, a little bit more information about this ride to you guys. This is, again, called the Joker's Jinx. And if anyone's been to Six Flags America here in Maryland, let us know in the chat. Have you guys ever been on this ride? Love to hear what it's like. Myself, I've never been on a ride like this, but you can tell this is obviously the big deal roller coaster at the park. Probably not a ride you want to stall on, especially if you're a first timer and you're scared to get on that roller coaster, and this is the one thing you think is going to happen, that your parents always say, no, the ride is safe, come on, nothing's going to happen. And there they are, they're stalled right now. But it looks like, again, everyone seems to be okay. No one's in distress. But this is the way the ride works. So after boarding the Joker's Jinx, riders are launched through a narrow launch tunnel into a, quote, spaghetti bowl of track, which contains a cobra roll, a sidewinder, and many twists and turns, as you guys can see clearly from the chopper here. The coaster doesn't have a mid-course brake run like the similar rides at Kings Island and Kings Dominion, which I'm from Ohio, so I've been to Kings Island. But instead, the coaster has multiple rings that the train goes through. After the rings, riders spiral downward and to the left. And after more twists and turns, they pass through a corkscrew before arriving at the ride's final brakes run. Interesting. But again, you guys you're looking here live on Fox News Now as well as Fox 10 Phoenix. Take a look at the emergency crews on the scene there. They've got to find their way up the ride to get these guys down safely. I'm going to get you guys some more updates as we watch live here on Fox News Now. Also want to mention to you guys watching, this is not the first time this has happened on this ride. This is the same ride where 24 people were trapped in August of 2014. And on that day, riders were given umbrellas by rescue crews to handle or to get some shade to handle the heat. It was a very hot day there in August of 2014, and emergency crews had to give all those passengers umbrellas to shade themselves from the sun. Again, that was 24 people that were trapped in August of 2014 on this same ride. And now you're seeing 24 passengers stuck today on this ride. Now, so this brings up the question, is this a situation where they're going to eventually need to just shut the ride down or, figure out the mechanics of the ride? What is it that makes it keep stalling? I mean, obviously, for an amusement park, this is the kind of coverage they don't want on their park. They want people to see it in a positive light, that the rides are safe. So they definitely don't want these sort of situations happening. But it looks like everyone's okay, and in the meantime, we get a look of what it looks like there at Six Flags America in Bowie, Maryland. Okay, everybody, in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, I am going to play an update from Mark Brady, who is the chief official spokesperson for the fire department there, doing the rescuing right now that you're seeing. So that's what I'm about to play in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Let's hear what he has to say.
We have reported 24 riders on board a stalled roller coaster ride, Joker's Jinx, at Six Flags America. We're setting up to put our high angle team in position to effect the rescue of the riders. So far at this point, we understand no.
Looks like the video cut off a little bit. Hopefully he will post a new one there, giving us updates there from the ground. They're setting up this emergency situation where they've got to get these 24 passengers down from this ride at the Six Flags America in Bowie, Maryland right now. I'm looking on Twitter right now to see if there are any passengers tweeting or posting from that ride right now. No one has tweeted to the official Six Flags DC account. Oh no, it does look like someone did tweet. So let's see here. Let's pull this up. So you can see Dennis Lopez has stuck in the air, hashtag Joker Jinx, hashtag Six Flags. And it looks like he did post an Instagram to go along with it. So let's check this out here. Okay. Yeah. So it looks like he's actually posting from the ground, clearly, but he is there right now. So he's saying that, all these passengers are stuck in the air right now. A lot of people tweeting from the scene there that are on the ground, but I'm trying to find if anybody's actually up there on the ride tweeting right now or posting anything to social media. We'll have to wait and see. But again, though, Mark Brady, the official spokesperson for the fire department there, did tweet this. He said, riders are upright. No one appears to be in distress. So that's always good news. It's great that they weren't, that they didn't stall at the part of the ride where they're, going upside down or, heading down very fast. That's always a good thing. But hopefully they'll be able to get these 24 passengers down safely today. Again, this is at Six Flags America in Bowie, Maryland. You're watching live here on the Fox News Now stream as well as Fox 10 Phoenix Facebook Live. Fox 10 anchor Carrie Lake joining me
Hey.
now as well to discuss this crazy situation that's happening. I'll put us in the upper right-hand corner just so people can still see.
My husband and son just got back from an amusement park. So the minute you said this happened, I said, was it at the park they were at? It was in Maryland. So thankfully
no
they were
way.
in California. No, they weren't there.
I was like, is it
But
the
you know,
same?
when you recently have been to one of these parks, whenever you're, I don't know about you, but maybe I've worked in news too long, you start to kind of imagine what could go wrong, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, not even being in news. Don't you grow up thinking that
Yeah,
when you're on
you're
the
like,
roller
oh,
coaster?
these have been stuck before. So we've got
Yeah.
24 people who are stuck on the ride. And right now what we're looking at is, let's move this box real quick so we can
Sure.
see the full picture. You've got the fire crews ready. They've gotten in the ladder truck here. They're lifting the ladder and they are about to take the basket up and try to start taking people down. I'm not sure if they've gotten some down, if we've missed any of that.
I haven't seen it yet. It looks like 24 passengers still stuck up there. Can that even reach that high? This ladder?
You know
that
what?
they
I'm
have?
not sure where it is, where the passengers are stuck. But 24 people stuck. It's called Joker's Jinx, and it looks like the Jinx is on those riders today at the Six Flag Park.
Yeah.
This is the Prince George County Fire, I believe. This is the local fire department that handles that area. And it looks like they're either raising up to kind of get some rescuers up there to assess the situation even further, or to actually start plucking people down. Now, if this is a true ladder truck, they should be able to then raise the ladder up.
Okay, so hopefully they
So
will.
we'll see how high. I'm not sure how high up the folks are stuck. This looks like a pretty fast one, a more modern one that has kind of the loop-to-loop, you go upside down, that kind of thing.
Yeah, one that takes a lot of courage to ride, at least for me.
The scream factor's up there.
Yeah.
You know, this is a fast roller coaster, most likely, because of the way it's built. And it just apparently stalled out. Now, we've got what appears to be at least 2 firefighters and 1 rescuer. Maybe they're all 3 firefighters, I'm not sure. But I can see that the 2 men, or the 2 firefighters on either side of the basket here have their full garb, their firefighting garb on. I'm not sure what the middle one is. And I think they may be able to get to an area where they can access these passengers. Thankfully, the passengers are not on an upside-down part of the loop.
That's what I've been saying. This is one of those situations where you fear this and your parents always tell you, it's fine, they do this all the time.
Right.
And then you stall. So, yeah, they...
Well, in
yeah.
Six Flags, I mean, I grew up going to Six Flags parks. I always felt like they were run pretty well, and this could just be a typical, a stall out. This kind of stuff happens. I wonder if it was a sudden stall or if it kind of stalled and then it ran a little bit longer and they kind of slowed to a halt.
Yeah, that would be bad if it just jerked and stopped, abruptly.
Have we gotten any word from people that are up there?
I've been looking on Twitter. People have been posting from the ground, but no one up there. So I'm not sure if,
Some of these rides, you need to leave your bag. They're so fast, you leave your bag in a cubby
Right.
hole.
Yeah.
Even your shoes, sometimes, if you're wearing shoes that aren't, tie-ons, you
Yeah.
kind of leave those in a cubby hole as well. This one looks like it's fully enclosed. You're in kind of a basket. You're strapped in.
Mm-hmm.
So you could possibly put your bag down by your feet. But pretty scary. And they've been up there, would you say, about 45
About
minutes?
45 minutes, yeah. The chief spokesperson
Look
for
how-
the fire department there
Now
says
look how
about
close
45.
they've been able to get here.
This is
I
incredible.
see somebody waving, going, hey, come over here and get me first.
So they look like they're okay. That's probably just boredom at this point, just waiting until they can get down.
This is a good reason, too, if you ever have to use the bathroom at a amusement park, use it when you have a chance to. Don't wait,
Yes.
it's like, oh, I'll use the bathroom after this ride, then you get stuck for an hour or so.
That would be
okay.
awful.
So we have, they've made kind of contact, looks like, with the riders. They've got the basket lifted. They've lifted the ladder there on that fire ladder truck. And it looks like they're communicating with some of the passengers. This is going to be a tricky rescue because, the passengers are not one false move, one wrong move, and they could fall. So they probably have to get them harnessed up. Each of them is going to have to put a harness on and make sure that when they make that step off onto the basket, if this is what they're going to do, that they are very safe. If a slip or a fall, they don't want them obviously falling to the ground. And right now, believe it or not, they're probably in the safest spot they could be in.
Yeah.
They are belted down in that, in the ride. The question is, those bars that sometimes come down on your waist to keep you in when you're doing the loop-de-loops, have those been loosened and let up to where they can get out of this, situation here?
Oh yeah, how does that work? I guess, can the ride guy, the guy that runs the ride, can he loosen them up from when they're on the ride? That's a great question.
This is going to be a slow recovery and a slow kind of a rescue, because if they're going to do it this way, if they're not going to be able to get the machine riding and get it down, it's going to be one basket at a time, one person at a time, and it could be kind of slow going. Again, for those of you just joining us here on Fox News Now, we've got passengers stuck on Joker's Jinx, which is a more modern type of roller coaster at the Six Flags amusement park, and this is the one out in the East Coast in Prince George County, which is in the Bowie, Maryland area. And we've got, I believe they said 24 people stuck on the roller coaster ride, and they've been there for just short of an hour. And right now we've got the fire rescue making contact. It looks like one of the rescue members is getting out, perhaps, of the basket, or maybe he just was moving around in there. It looks like he's actually trying to access the ride here and the rails. So I'm not sure if this is a maintenance guy that they brought up. Now, they could be skipping the rescue part and bringing a maintenance guy up to do what he has to do so they can get this thing moving and just bring them down. That would probably be the easiest thing. Get the maintenance guy up there and have him fix the ride just enough to get that train, basically the ride itself, the passengers, slowly down and around to get them back to where they started from, and that's the best way to get them off.
Mm-hmm. And some roller coasters too, I don't know, you can see that there are some ladders and there's ways that mechanics can actually get up to you without having to have a fire crew, lift you up. But I've never been to Six Flags, so it's interesting. You went your whole life, and so you probably rode roller coasters.
Well, not to this
like
one. I mean, they've got Six Flags all over, but it looks like, you know what? Did they drop the guy off, or is he back in? He's probably assessing. That would make more sense. Have a maintenance person go up and try to do a repair just to say, let's get this thing moving again. I'm not sure how far into the ride they were. Were they getting towards the end? I'm sure there's a lot of variables here that go into how they assess what they're going to do here. Is this from the scene?
Yeah, it looks like Mark Brady, the chief spokesperson for the fire department there, took a video update. So let's play that in the upper corner of the screen. And
he wrote on this thing, "Rescues starting. Everybody is doing good on board stalled car." It's going to be a high-angle rescue. That's going to be a little bit more involved. Again, that's individually pulling each person off the ride, putting them, into the basket, the ladder truck that's up there right now, and then bringing them down individually. This is going to be a little more involved.
And let's play the video and hear what he has to say, too.
Okay. Okay, well,
he didn't say anything, but
we get the idea. I mean, they're operating, sending the ladder truck up, basket with. It appears that there were two rescuers, maybe three. I saw two firefighters in there and somebody who didn't appear to be in a firefighter's garb. But they're, it's going to be slow going. When you get stuck on a ride, it's typically, they want to make it the fastest way possible. Or not the fastest way, the safest way possible. Speed is not necessarily even part of it. This could take 5 hours, and they don't care. As long as each and every one of these 24 people gets down unhurt, that's what matters.
I'm checking the Six Flags DC Twitter account, too, and obviously everyone in the news and, emergency crews are tweeting at them. They haven't tweeted anything yet, probably haven't sent out a statement yet, but always interesting to see if anybody's actually on that roller coaster tweeting to Six Flags or tweeting anything.
Yeah, they probably want to keep this off their main page.
Yeah, they definitely do.
For people, oh, here we go. Breaking on the scene of Six Flags roller coaster. I'm trying to get an idea of who's on there, if I see any kids on there.
It's mostly reporters at this point tweeting about it.
Well, I mean, on the ride itself. A lot of these rides, there's a requirement for a certain height. That's going to keep the age of the passenger to maybe 10 or older. Just this last year, my kids have been tall enough for all of us to get on the same ride at one time. But for a while there, our son couldn't get on the rides. He was too short.
This really interesting you just brought that up, because this guy, Marcos, just tweeted, is this one of the reasons for the strict limitations of who can ride, height and weight?
Yeah, the last thing you want is to have one of these rides, something go wrong, and you have a 4-year-old up there. Now, the more dangerous rides are the ones that have a little bit of risk for something like this happening. You don't want to have a 4-year-old up there or a 3-year-old up there at the top of the ride having a meltdown. It's bad enough having to rescue adults. If you've got a child with an issue, you've got more problems right there.
Well, I mean, look at the ride, too. I would think a 4-year-old wouldn't want to ride that yet, or you wouldn't want your 4-year-old to ride it.
I can't tell right now if they've managed to bring anybody onto the basket. Can you tell?
I can't really tell. Hopefully Chopper will zoom in. It looks like possibly the mechanic is working on something right now.
On the track, perhaps, to free this, the train, the ride stalled out. And because of that, the 24 people got stuck on the ride, and they're now trying to attempt to rescue what do you call it, a high-angle rescue? But perhaps they're actually going to attempt to get this thing moving again. And I don't know how these things stall out. I mean, I thought it was kind of, once they get moving, they're moving pretty fast, and I don't know if something happened with the brakes, and they froze up.
Of course, the worry for most people when they're on a roller coaster is they're just going to take off into the sky and not, really though what happens is they just get stuck on the track and you can't move forward, which is less scary than obviously.
I see some arms kind of, waving towards the rescuers, or maybe they're waving towards the helicopter. Yeah, they're like, oh, we're on the news tonight.
Yeah.
But we've got what appears to be 3 firefighters, at least 2 firefighters, and maybe one, somebody who does more like the tactical stuff. And I don't know if they're sending out, well, they just dropped something down. I wish I could see this a little bit better. It looks like they're putting something here, and I don't know if that's to protect people from falling, or how this is working.
Yeah, either they're going to bring them down one by one, like you said, or they're going to get the ride moving again from up there.
Now, one of the reporters in that area said that a similar incident occurred on the ride in 2014.
Yeah, where I believe, let's see what it says here, 24 people were stuck. Yeah, the same ride where 24 people were trapped in August 2014.
Yikes.
And on that day, they had to give them umbrellas because it was so hot.
Oh,
so
wow.
they could have some shade. Imagine being stuck on a ride here in Arizona.
Oh.
At 120-degree weather.
Well, we've had some incidents with our small amusement park, with injuries and things like that. So this is not unheard of. And, yeah, the weather, you're right in the middle. The sun's beating down on you. Not a fun. The fun quickly ends when you're in a situation like this. It was like, oh, we were having a great time, and then we got stuck.
Yeah.
So this is in Bowie, Maryland, which is outside of Washington, D.C., and 24 people are stuck on a roller coaster. Prince George County is the county, and it looks like they've got the firefighters and rescue up there trying to either get to the passengers that are on this ride, or do a quick maintenance, do a little bit of maintenance and get the ride moving again. I have a feeling it's going to be a rescue. And they're really trying to position that basket just right up against the truck are right up against the train perfectly.
Oh yeah, looks like they're moving up a little bit on each, coaster bin there. They're trying to do something. So you're right.
I wonder if they're talking to the people who are in there. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Well, this would fit 24. So if it's full, we have 24 people. But sometimes, like when I go with my family, and if my son's not tall enough, there's just 3 of us, and so we have 1 empty seat. But I'm assuming there are 24 people on here because all of the wire copy that we're getting from the Associated Press is saying 24 people.
You always have to have that good group with you, so it's not 3
My
with an empty
kids
seat or 2.
want to sit in the front all the time if possible. It's
Really?
more fun. So this is it at Six Flags, and the ride is called Joker's Jinx, and it looks like the joke is on the people on the ride right now because the midway through the cars stalled out. They didn't get to go through the final loop-de-loops, and they're just kind of stuck there. Although I'm looking at this ride, and I can think of about 20 other worse places to be on the ride stuck. At least they're kind of stuck where they're all sitting upright. They're not hanging upside down, being held in place by the,
Oh my
the
gosh,
band
that would be
around
the
their
worst,
lap.
and the blood would be rushing to your head. People would just be, that would be
That's
much
when you would
worse.
start to panic,
Yeah,
right?
I
But
would
we're
panic.
looking at on the ground. We've got some fire trucks there, and I see a few people staring up. But for the most part, I imagine this is one of those things where if you're at the park, you just kind of look up there and go, "Oh, that's interesting. Glad it's not me." And then you get on with your day because how often do you get to a park?
Right.
You want to make the most of it. You don't want to sit and stare at this. Although there are a few people who are watching and kind of gawking at the scene, I imagine most of the people in that park are thinking, well, this is our opportunity. That's 24 fewer people to get in line with on the other rides, so we'll just keep moving about. 24 people, though, are probably getting a little bit antsy up there. They've been on the ride for about an hour's time, and they're stuck at the top, the very top. I mean, there's a little bit higher area they could be in, but it's pretty close to the top of the Joker's Jinx. It looks like a pretty fast-moving roller coaster. And the fire department is attempting a rescue mission right now. And this is going to be slow going because they're using a ladder truck. They've got a basket, and they are starting to inch their way towards the passengers. At one moment, I thought maybe they're just sending a maintenance guy up there with the firefighters. But now I'm starting to think that maybe they're going to start slowly working their way, figuring out which passengers maybe they have to start with. If they got anybody with a health issue, get them down first.
Yeah, I keep checking Mark Brady's Twitter account, the chief spokesperson for the fire department. He hasn't said anything yet about what the plan is. But it's interesting. I mean, the question is, if you saw this happening, would you get on the ride again right after they fix it?
No, and I imagine they will have to, by state law, keep this thing down and get it inspected. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this ride because for people who are, roller coaster aficionados, this is in the section of the park that they call Gotham City. Joker's Jinx. So it's obviously a Batman-centric feature in the park.
Oh, cool.
And it opened back in 1999, so it's been open about 18 years, May of 1999. It is a steel-launched ride, and at its height, at the top of it, it reaches 78 feet, which is just short of 8 stories high. So imagine an 8-story office building. And it looks like they're a good 10, 20 feet from the top. So they're probably a good 60 feet up from the ground, maybe a little less. They're about 6 stories up from the ground, these people. The length of this is 2,700 feet, and it goes 60 miles an hour. So we're looking at a massive track that runs 2,700 feet long, but it goes 60 miles an hour, so I imagine this ride is not a very long ride. The ride is 56 seconds, so somewhere in that 56 seconds of thrill, this ride came to a halt. And I don't know if it was a screeching halt or a slow halt, but it came to a halt as the cars basically just fizzled out and stalled. It has a G-force of 4.5, and you have to be 54 inches to ride, which...
So that's...
oh, gosh, let me try to do some math here. 12 goes into 54. Almost 5 foot tall? No?
Yeah, it looks like
4.5 feet tall.
4.5 feet tall, okay.
4.5 feet tall to ride. It's 2 trains with 6 cars. Riders are arranged 2 across in 2 rows for a total of 24 riders per train. It does 4 inversions. So we're talking about when it does the loop-de-loops, it goes upside down 4 times. And we're not sure where this was in the ride. Was it just going up and if it never got enough? Here we go. This is a better angle, by the way, of the, is this the rescue? Do they have somebody in there yet? Or is this, I think they're trying to get a better angle. It's going to be a tough angle to get these people off of this ride. Oh, I see. It's
and
another.
one by one, too, right?
Actually, I'm sorry. I'm just now getting a wider angle here. We've got 2 baskets operating now. So that other fire truck that was there, another ladder truck, getting the basket up there. And now we're watching one of the rescuers who is harnessed, and I am assuming either attached to the ride or that basket, starting to rescue one by one. It looks like he just handed him over something, and this is probably another harness, handing it over to one of the park goers. You're going to have to put that harness on, he's probably telling them, and they're going to double check and triple check that it's tight and it's secure before they can lift them out of that ride and move them. And before they lift one person out, they've got to get both sides secure, because once they lift that bar, you've got 2 people who could stumble out.
Have you experienced this before? It feels
No,
like
I
you've
haven't.
been in this position before. You're like, listen.
I'm just I just talk.
No, but that's right. That's the point. So they have to harness the other person too.
You can't lift the bar on a 2-person bar, and it might be where they have to get all 4 of them. If there's 4 people per car, it might be one of those things that once the bar comes up, both bars come up.
That's crazy. Yeah, because as soon as one comes up, the other one comes up. You're right. It's too bad that not all of them can come up at once.
Oh, this is one of those rides. I love these kind. It uses linear induction motor technology to launch the train from 0 to 60 miles an hour in 3 seconds. So this is one of those you just shoot out.
Yes.
And I wonder if there wasn't enough to propel them and they just kind of slowly came to a stop, or if they had been going for a while.
Yeah, that's one of those where you sit there and you're waiting until it just launches you. That's always a scary way to start the ride and a fun way to start the ride.
It's in the park near the Superman Ride of Steel roller coaster. For those of you who are Six Flags park goers and you've been to this park in D.C., it does not have a mid-course brake run like the similar rides. It has multiple rings that the train goes through. After the rings, the riders spiral downward and to the left, and after more twists and turns, they pass through a corkscrew before arriving at the ride's final brake run. You know how some rides, you're doing the ride, and they kind of come to a slow in the middle of the ride, then they go again? Uh-huh. This one, it sounds like, does not have that.
Oh, that's interesting. And I wonder if that has to do with its stalling. Like, what is it that makes a roller coaster just stall like that? I'm going to look that up.
So this has a cobra roll, a sidewinder, and a corkscrew in it. This is like a triple threat.
Jeez, and it looks like there are some parts of it that go, upside down and really
This sounds
go
like
down
a fun
far
ride,
and
actually.
steep.
Yeah.
Yeah, this actually does look like a fun ride.
So again, at the top height, this would be 78.8 feet, so just under 8 stories. We're talking a 7 or 8 story building, and these people would pretty much be up there. And look at this, brave rescuer. He's securing them. They may not even trust the actual victim of this stall to do the harness themselves. I mean, you really have to make sure that the harness is on really tight before you take somebody out of that, because the worst thing that could happen is somebody they're trying to rescue falls to their death when they come out.
Yeah.
This is the most dangerous part. Being stalled and stuck up there is one thing. You're just kind of stuck. But getting out and getting into the other basket at that height, and you're going to have people up there who aren't too afraid to go on the roller coaster, but they're afraid of heights.
Yeah.
So they go to step off this thing and imagine how scary that would be. And they can sometimes kind of freak out. And you've got to deal with people who are stressed out, probably getting hot, probably getting thirsty. And, they've been sitting up there waiting for over an hour now for the rescue to begin. And they're starting to probably in their head imagining the things that can go wrong. And so you're dealing with people who've been sitting there just kind of waiting and thinking about what kind of a position they're stuck in.
Sure, and imagine if it was your first time riding this as well, and this is what happens. Take a look at this shot, too.
It almost looks like they've shut down some of the other rides, too. It looks like they've got the water ride behind it here. We're looking at the water ride behind it. I don't see anybody over there. They probably shut this whole area of the park down.
Yeah, I was going to say it looked like a pretty slow day there at the park,
Yeah.
but maybe they did shut down this whole area.
Well, let's think. It's 4 o'clock here, so we're talking 3-hour difference. It's 7 o'clock there.
That's true.
And
How long did they usually say open around 10?
here we go. Looks like
Let's take it back to this
we
shot
go.
here.
it depends. My husband and son, they were just at Knott's Berry Farm in California. Mm-hmm. And I think the park stayed up until 10 or 10:30, and they stayed until it closed. So, I mean, sometimes the parks stay open later. Maybe not there, I don't know. Because I'm not sure if this is a year-round park or if it has a season. Some of them, when they're in a winter climate, they don't have, they don't have a... But
They
look
don't
at
have it
this.
open, yeah.
We've got these rescuers. I mean, right, I'm afraid of heights. So the idea of sitting up there on that, where these rescuers are sitting there, and obviously they are harnessed. They are harnessed, I
Yeah, let me
think,
remove
maybe
that
to
lower
the ride.
third. Yeah,
They might
look at that. They're literally
Wow.
standing on where the coaster.
But you can see where they have something hanging from the back of them, the harness. So if God forbid, something were to go wrong, we've got now 2 more rescuers starting to make their way up. And what they might be doing is they might have to walk people off. They might have to get everybody harnessed, and then they slowly walk them down on the track a little ways to the basket.
Oh wow! See, that would be.
But this is
terrifying.
going to be a very slow rescue. I imagine this is going to take, before they start moving people out. Well, this guy looks like he's standing up. We got somebody standing up. There we go, the first one.
Oh great! Yeah, you
She's
can
standing
see that.
up, and she's in the most safe spot. She's right next to the basket. She's pretty level. These ones in the back where there's a bit of an incline and they're kind of twisted and sideways is going to be a little more dangerous.
I mean, I think that's terrifying because they're almost just leaning right off, like you could
So-
just fall right out of your seat.
So he's handing her over. I don't know how many people they'll put in that basket before they lower the basket and then have to raise the basket back up.
That's a good point.
It looks like she's standing, and I don't know if she's holding on or he's holding on to her. And they're going to make the actual step off into the basket of that fire truck. It's a Prince George County fire crew and rescue crew here, and she's got her arm around no, she's in the basket now. Looks like she just is making her way into the basket. We've got one person safely off the ride.
Look at that.
Well, that's something to celebrate.
That's amazing.
She's
Now
like-
everyone's thinking, okay, this is going to take a while.
She's like, see you later. I'm
Yeah.
out of here. Again, this ride is 78 feet high. So while this train is not at the top of the ride, it looks like it may be 10 or 20 feet from the top. And so we're still looking at people who, a fall from that level would be fatal. Let's face it. I mean, this is not the worst thing to be stuck in a ride. They will get down. They'll make it down. And at least they're kind of stuck in a place where they're sitting upright. They're not hanging upside down. Nobody's dangling out. But this is the reason why they're so careful when they do this. When they, how they make you sit down, they have everybody double check their safety belt, then they put the bar down and you can't breathe anymore because the bar is so tight.
Right.
This is one of the reasons why, obviously.
I always get scared because I'll think they didn't check well enough. They barely tapped the bar,
You're
you
like,
know.
wait.
So I do, I'm checking because, God forbid it, pops up and it's
And it
not.
makes that like clink, 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 clink sound.
Yeah, it's terrifying. And think about, like you said, the people in the back are they're tilted. So
A
you
little
can
more,
see
yeah.
they're sort of almost.
Well, the ones that they're rescuing that are right in front of this basket, they are also tilted.
Yeah.
And
Good thing that this coaster just, is locked in on the track so that.
that's true. I mean, you wouldn't want that
They
coaster
just-
moving. You wouldn't. At this point, you want it to be kind of locked into place so that they can, go about rescuing these people. Now we've got this other basket, and it looks like the rescuers walking up the the track of the ride and probably going to be approaching the people from the back, maybe at least getting harnesses on. What would maybe make this a speedier process would to bring a bunch of harnesses up, get everybody in their harness. And then when the firefighters go to individually rescue them, they
ready.
just clip them on and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
Because the part that you want to make sure is that they're ready for the rescue and they're in a safe situation. 24 passengers, thrill seekers, probably getting a thrill that they did not expect and did not want at a Bowie, Maryland area Six Flags amusement park. This is just outside of Washington, D.C., and it seems to be a pretty nice day there. I don't think it's too cold. I'm seeing people in T-shirts. 24 people got stuck on the roller coaster when it stalled out. It's called the Joker's Jinx roller coaster. It's located in the Gotham area of the Six Flags amusement park there in Prince George County, Maryland. And it's a roller coaster that's pretty high speed. It goes 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. So this is a definite thrill. Everybody, when they go to the park, that's probably on their list of must-do rides.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's only a 56-second thrill. It's not one of those long rides. It's a short but fast and probably pretty crazy ride. It goes upside down, twists and turns. 24 people can ride on each train, and it sounds like they have 2 trains. And the ride layout is pretty interesting. The elements, they have a cobra roll, a sidewinder, and a corkscrew. So this is one of those really fun rides that, is probably one of the bigger thrills in the park. And for it to stall out, that means it's going to be closed down for a little bit, maybe a day, maybe 2 days or longer while they wait and get this thing back working, and then they get the inspectors in, because you can't have a ride like something
Just
like
go
this
again.
happen and then just flip the switch and put it back on.
That's a good point. I was thinking, did they just start it back up again? No worry. I'm sure they would not do that. So
the interesting thing here is we're dealing with nightfall, 7 o'clock on the East Coast in Bowie, Maryland right now, and I'm assuming they've got another hour of sun before the sun sets. I'm not sure when the sun sets in Bowie, Maryland. But
gosh, could you imagine doing this when it's dark out? I mean, you don't want to be still stuck up there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to make it a lot harder. So they've got to work as quickly as possible without, risking anything. They want to be very, very careful as they remove these 24 people. It looks like they have gotten a couple people, at least one person, in the basket. And they're probably pretty close to getting the second one.
And it does look like a really fun ride, but like you said, even if you like roller coasters, if you don't like heights, you don't want to be up there for that long. You kind of think, it's just going to go over once real quick. You don't think you're going to be stuck up there for 45 minutes to an hour.
They've got less than 40 minutes of sun right now. The sun's going to set at 7:43, and it's 7:08 right now. So we're talking about 35 minutes of sun that they're dealing with, and you're going to get maybe 10, 15 more minutes after the sun has set of dusk, and then we're going to see it go pretty dark. So I think they're trying to get this thing moving, and that might be why they have both baskets up there. If this were, let's say, 3 p.m. their time, they would probably try to. They wouldn't be in such a hurry, but right now they're dealing with the sun going down.
That is, probably the worst time for this to happen to you. It looks like they've
gotten 2 people out, and it looks like they're bringing the basket down now to take those 2 people down.
So 2 at a time is what it's going to be.
Yeah,
it seems.
And I think it's really going to depend on how many people can fit in that basket, and maybe
weight and
maybe
height
they
and...
drop down one of the firefighters. I don't know.
Yeah, that's possible.
They're probably trying to figure out the way to do this safely where they don't have, they can do it as quickly as possible and as safe as possible.
I'd love to be the first person. Just, okay, I'm down now. I'll just, thank you so much.
Yeah, I wonder what they do. They probably give them a free trip back to the park. What do you bet?
I don't know. I mean, what happens if this happens to you and you're on the news? Does the park offer you anything, or?
I would think you get a free trip back. At the very least.
Yeah.
Maybe with kind of that front of the line, you can pay a little extra to not have to wait in line.
There's always those moms, though, that push it to the limit of, no, that's not enough. We want a year's pass and blah, blah, blah.
Well,
you never know.
And they've been up there for, I would say we're going on, what, an hour and 15 minutes or so?
Yeah, it's the last
Since
tweet
we've been
that came
covering.
in was about an hour ago, yeah, from the fire department.
So I can't tell if they haven't gotten that basket down just yet. I see in the very wide shot, the other basket is still up there, but what they really need to do is get this other basket positioned better where they can start removing people a little quicker. Because the sun's going to set about 7:45-ish, and that's putting them at, they probably have a good 40 minutes of enough light to get these people down. But I don't know if that's going to be enough time, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I would hate to be up there when it's dark, and then they're trying to figure out how to put the harness on you, but they can barely see, and that's going to be
Right.
a difficult situation. Again, that's interesting. You said that they closed down probably that area there in the park, unless the park's closed now. I don't think so, though. I think you're right. They probably closed down those other rides nearby.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want to have anything else happen, and maybe they close the whole park down. I don't know if they...
It could be possible since, I mean, look, all the fire trucks had to get through. Everyone had to get through without anyone in the way.
So people watching around the country here on Fox 10 News Now as we watch 24 people who basically signed up for a thrill ride today, getting more of a thrill ride than they signed up for at Six Flags DC, which is the Six Flags amusement park in, why am I forgetting the name? Bowie, Maryland.
Yeah. No, but there's just so many Six Flags all over.
Yeah, this
that,
one's in just outside of DC.
Yeah, this is definitely probably one of the most popular rides there, as you can see. But this isn't the first time this happened. This happened in August of 2014 with 24 people being stuck as well. So this is, obviously they did something to fix it in 2014, but it happened again not too long later in 2017. But the first time it happened, they had to give passengers umbrellas because the sun was beating down so hard. So luckily that doesn't happen in this situation, but they are beating the clock. They're trying to beat the clock here with the sun setting. Looks like we're getting kind of a ground shot right now. Looks like they're bringing those two people out of the basket.
Ah, they're free. Woman and a man, perhaps. I can't tell. And they're on solid ground again, and that's always a good feeling, I imagine, especially if you've been stuck up there for an hour or so.
Oh, yeah.
Now the basket's going to make its way back up. My question is, will they remove some of the firefighters, or are they bringing some more rescuers up? It looks like they've got 2 more rescuers that they've added to the basket, and perhaps these are people who are just going to make sure that everybody can safely make it down.
Yeah, because I wonder, do they need more than one rescuer in that basket to go up? They could probably bring down more people, but who knows? Maybe there's one guy that needs to harness them, the other one that needs to, run the machine. We'll see what happens here, but...
I'm trying to read for any updates.
Looks like we did get another tweet from Mark Brady, the official spokesperson there at the fire department. I'll pull this in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. It says, I have added a backup Twitter account. Okay, so I'll check the backup Twitter account as well of the fire department there. I've been looking through, but it looks like most of the tweets are coming in from him about this situation here.
Well, I don't know if this is true. One person wrote, "Help, I'm stuck on the Joker roller coaster at Six Flags and I'm live streaming." So I don't know if this is accurate. I'm going to check this out.
See if we
and
can check that out.
If it's not...
Oh, man.
Might not be.
Let's see. We are reading a tweet, though, from Mark Brady. He says, the plan is to remove children first. The first adult and 2 children are in the safety of our bucket and being prepared to be lowered. Okay, so that tweet came in about 30 seconds ago. And you can see in the video here as they are lowering But interesting. So yeah, removing children first, sort of like the Titanic, women and children first, and then whoever else can get down. But of course, I would think, I would love to be removed first if I'm on one of those really tilted carts.
Yeah, that's when you wish you were a child.
Yeah, it's like, just
one of
please
the
let
many
me
times
off.
in life you wish you were a child.
The men are always, why do I have to go last? But luckily, no injuries, it seems. I haven't had any injuries being reported, so that's good. It's just probably...
It's going to take time. It's 24 people. You cannot rush these things. There's only, you can be brisk, and you can try to get it planned and organized, but you cannot rush a rescue of 24 people who are a good 6 stories up in the air and probably tired and a little bit nervous, and they've been like freaking out. Maybe some of them have. You just can't rush something, because this is where it's dangerous. Getting stuck on a roller coaster isn't necessarily dangerous. It is getting off of a stuck roller coaster that can be very dangerous. And so they're trying to do this in an orderly fashion as quickly as possible, but you just can't risk having something go wrong. They are working against the sun, because the sun is going to set here in probably a half an hour. So, right now it looks like the basket's heading back up. They've got 2 trucks there with baskets, and they're working from the back now. It looks like they're getting everybody in their harness, and that's probably the smart thing to do, because that's going to take the time. You want to make sure everyone's harness is on correctly, it's tight, it's not loose, it's not going to fall off if something, God forbid, were to happen. So, they're checking on everybody, making sure they don't have anybody with a health problem that needs to get off right away, and they're going to, in an orderly fashion, go basket by basket full and bring everybody down. Question is, now that they've gotten the rescuers up there and they're getting people harnessed, how quickly can they do this safely?
Mm-hmm. And you got to give it up to those emergency crew members that are up there, that are staying up there until everyone's down. I mean, if you can see those guys literally standing on the tracks.
I know, it's so crazy. I could never do that in a million years.
Oh my gosh, I would be terrified. Yeah, that's terrifying. When they say, oh, I'm a firefighter, they don't just fight fires. They do stuff like this, too. It's not just, what you would think. Mm-hmm. It's all these situations where they have to rescue people out of crazy incidents like this.
And they're bringing that basket pretty darn close, so it's not like they have to do a big step, and when they look down, they go, oh my gosh, we're 60 feet up. They're bringing that basket right up to the edge. So hopefully it's just a little step out of the train and step onto the basket, and then we lower you. And they'll just go from one basket to another. Now that they've kind of got the first 2 out, that's always the hard part, getting the first ones out, and then you hit the next one, hit the next one.
Right.
Looks like they're right here. They're lifting somebody up. Helping them, I think. I can't tell. It's kind of hard to see here. I can't tell if they've just gotten one more person maybe into the basket.
And again, this is called the Joker's Jinx ride. Just updating this lower third in case anyone's coming into the show and wondering what's going on. All right, you guys. Well, you are still watching live here. 24 passengers stuck today on this Joker's Jinx ride. I had Fox 10 anchor Carrie Lake up here with me hosting. She is getting ready for the 5 o'clock news now, though. So you guys got to tune in for that as well if you're here locally in Phoenix. She's getting ready for that 5 o'clock news. But we will keep on this footage for as long as we can. This is a situation, you guys, where they've got to get down a few at a time. Luckily, it's not one by one, but it's, a few at a time. They are trying to work against the clock right now, trying to get these people down before the sun sets. Again, if anybody has been on this ride, or if you've experienced being stuck on a ride that has stalled, let us know. You can tweet out our show handle, that's Fox 10 News Now, or let us know in the comment section of Fox 10 Phoenix Facebook Live, or in the live chat here on our YouTube stream, Fox News Now. Lots of ways to contact us and share your opinions here on the show. We do know that children are going to be removed first. Now, there was one adult that went down with 2 children. We do know that the first adult and 2 children are in safety. They were in the safety bucket, and they were being prepared to be lowered. They were lowered just a few moments ago. We saw that happen. I'll put that in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, as you can see, just when they are lowering them here. Check this out. This is right at the moment where they're lowering them. I'm pulling this up from the Twitter account of Mark Brady, again, that official spokesperson there for the fire department. But you can see that that's the bucket that they're lowering them on. Just lower them down safely, slowly, take them out and move on. But I'm still checking around for Snapchats, Twitter, Instagram posts from people that are up there. Maybe it's one of those roller coasters where they were not allowed to bring their phones up with them. But luckily, no injuries reported. We just know that they've been stuck for a while, so at this point it's probably a lot of boredom that people are feeling, and other people probably could still be scared. I know myself, I'm a baby when it comes to this stuff. I would still be feeling scared, thinking that anything can happen. Looks like they've got the situation under control though, and everyone's going to be okay, hopefully. Reading some of your comments, asking you guys if you ever experienced this before. Have you ever been on a roller coaster that has stalled? Looks like some of you have been. I'm scrolling up here just a little bit. Yeah, TLC saying overbooked roller coasters will always get stuck. Well, I mean, if they've got seats there and everyone can get in, I'm assuming that that's protocol to just let everyone in there and take this ride. But hopefully everyone will get down safely. I know a lot of people that are afraid of heights, you can ride a roller coaster knowing you'll only be up there for a little bit, and so you kind of get over your fear of heights, but then you're stuck up there. I can imagine some people aren't, having a blast with this. I'm assuming some people are probably still very frightened at this point in time. Yeah, David Lee in the chat, this is correct. This is the same ride where 24 people got stuck in August of 2014, where emergency crews had to hand them all umbrellas to shade themselves from the heat because they were stuck up there for so long. Yeah, Temporary Channel making a good point. How do you overbook a roller coaster? Yeah, you don't overbook a roller coaster, but I think what the guy was trying to say is, maybe it just seemed like it was so packed that they got stuck, but that's obviously not what happened here. It just seems like the roller coaster stalled, and that involves, a lot of what goes on with the mechanics of a roller coaster, but this isn't the first time this has happened, so, they're probably going to have to shut the ride down and figure out, why does this roller coaster keep stalling? Looks like the sun is just slowly setting. They have about 20 more minutes until the sun has set. Hopefully, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's taking too long if they're able to get in at least 2 or 3 people every time. There's 24 people on there. Hopefully they'll be able to get everybody down before the sun sets. I don't want to be up there when it's still dark, hopefully that doesn't happen. Gotta give it up to these guys. I mean, look at this. These emergency crew members literally standing up there. They have no fears, it looks like. So these guys are very brave. Gotta give it a shout out to these emergency crew responders that risk their lives every day. And like we were saying earlier, You know, if you're a fire crew member, they don't just put out fires. They do stuff like this all the time where they're rescuing people from incidents that you wouldn't even think would happen. And this is the stuff that they have to do. So they put their lives at risk every day to help us out. If you guys are just joining us, you're watching Fox News Now, part of Fox 10 Phoenix, where we stream live 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday through Friday, events from all over the United States, including political events, any breaking news events, fires, roller coaster, situations like this, car chases, anything that you can think of. We stream it live here. No commercials, no interruptions of, any ads or anything like that, which is great. No editing. This is all raw footage that comes from the cameras live on the ground or the news choppers live at the scene. So that's kind of the beauty of our stream, is we get to provide this breaking news for you guys as it's happening. So we provide all of the information that we can, but we don't know how things are going to end, especially with car chases. We update you guys as we're watching the chase all together live, but because it's live, we never know how they're going to end. So that's kind of what's unique about our show. Looks like the camera's getting a little shaky. Chopper's been in the air for quite some time. This has been going on for about an hour and a half now, I want to say. You're getting kind of a wider view of the park here today. Again, this is the Six Flags America Park in D.C., Bowie, Maryland, or I guess I should say Bowie, Maryland, kind of D.C., outskirts of the D.C. area, where 24 passengers were stuck today. They're taking them down, maybe 2 or 3 people at a time, children first, and then the adults. It looks like, though, they did take one adult down with 2 children, and they did land safely. But, Fox 10 anchor Carrie Lake was bringing up a great point of, you're really harnessed in there when you get in this ride. So they have to work out the mechanics of how they can get them out of their seats and then re-harnessed so that they can get them in the bucket there that the fire crews have. And then moved down safely, get them out safely, then move the bucket back up. Looks like they are trying to harness everybody, get them ready to go so that every time the fire crew's bucket comes back up, they can just pull them in one by one and get them down and back up quickly before the sun sets. I'm trying to remember, and I want to hear from you guys if you've ever been in a situation where your roller coaster has stalled. I don't believe that it's happened. I think I would be able to remember. It would be sort of a traumatizing experience if you're up there that long, especially like these people. I'm sure the adults are just thinking, gosh, when can I get down from here? I want to get out of the parking area on time. But the kids, if you're somebody who loves roller coasters, maybe this is really fun and cool to you. But if you're someone who's typically scared and you're scared of heights, we don't know if there's any, crying, screaming kids up there right now. It's very possible. You have to be about 4.5 feet tall to ride this ride. So they do have, some pretty strict limitations on who can ride the ride. Someone was tweeting earlier, maybe this is why they have such strict limitations. Yeah, I mean, on a ride like this, you wouldn't want a very young kid to ride it anyway. You can see that there's lots of twists and turns and no slowing down points. Just thank goodness it didn't, stall when they were upside down or something like that. Chris Lee commenting, I've been on a roller coaster once, and that was one time too many, never again. I may or may not have cried a little bit. Yeah, some people are really scared of roller coasters, so I feel for anybody that's up there right now that didn't want to ride this ride, got convinced to ride this ride, and now they are stuck. Because you always tell yourself right before, it won't happen to me, those situations happen so rarely. And then, imagine if you're stuck in one of those very rare situations where the ride does stall, you're probably not too happy. And Carrie made a good point too. Imagine if you have to use the bathroom, if you had to use the bathroom before you got on the ride and now you're stuck up there and it's been an hour and 45 minutes and you're trying your best, to stay calm. That's a tough situation too. My co-host Mike Page up here with me now to sort of give us some updates too on. I mean, you said it's going to get dark in about 40 minutes. 30 minutes?
30 minutes now. So you would think that the first responders here want to get this done pretty quickly here because it's going to be much difficult once the sun goes down there in Maryland, out on the East Coast. You figure it's 4:30 here. It's already 7:30 there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is not a situation you want to be in when it's dark. I mean, Mike, are you someone that's afraid of riding roller coasters?
Oh yeah, I won't. I've done it only a couple times, and that's just because of pure pressure. 100% pure pressure. But yeah, we have back home. We have a Six Flags Great America as well.
See, I've never been to a Six Flags.
Now, what do you guys in Ohio? You have what is it?
Kings Island. We have
Kings Island.
Yeah.
There's
it
another
used to be
one.
Paramount Kings Island. Now it's just Kings Island.
What about the Cedar
Point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been there. I just always did Kings Island because it was about 30 minutes away from Cincinnati.
Okay.
And they had big roller coasters like that there.
Yes.
But I have never. My ride's never stalled, and it does take a while for me to get the courage to get up there. So I was saying, imagine if you were convinced to get on today's ride.
Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine if you were... Think about this. Could you imagine if you were on the fence and then your friend was like, no, come on, it'll just take 2 minutes. This ride will just take 2 minutes.
And then this happens.
Because that's usually that's how short they are, just 2 minutes.
Right.
2.5 minutes. I think 3 minutes is the max that you'll find there. But yeah, 24 passenger. But we've been seeing more and more get off, right?
Yeah, and I'm updating this lower third because obviously 24 are not stuck anymore, but that's the number that was originally reported.
Hey, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been upside down.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying, because imagine if you were upside down, the blood would be rushing to your head, everyone would be
you'd be
scared.
You'd be in a situation you wouldn't want to be in, but I mean, not like these people want to be in this situation at all. But it could be a lot worse, and it looks like the first responders there are just doing an absolutely great job. And kudos to the PIO out there, Prince George's County, Maryland, Mark Brady. Mark Brady's been doing he always does a real nice job on social media there. Really great PIO out there on the East Coast. And I even took one of his live shots one time when there was another incident in Maryland when there was a construction worker trapped.
Really?
Yeah, so Mark Brady always puts it together, always does it big time for us.
Well, that's great that he's so responsive and he's giving so many updates on social media. So I keep checking his Twitter account. No, that's actually the Six Flags Twitter account. I've been checking theirs too. They haven't sent out anything yet. Probably, they don't want to make any sort of announcements yet about it. But the latest tweet is this one. I'll pull this up again for everybody that hasn't seen it. The plan is to remove children first, and then they said that the first adult and 2 children were safely.
Hey, it's just like you're on Titanic.
That's what I was thinking too, and it makes sense. I mean, they're going to bring the children down first. That's easiest. They're lightest, and then bring down the rest of the adults. So. And
just looking on social media with people that are from that area and have gone to this park and on this attraction, I guess what people have been saying on social media that this ride particularly usually has problems.
Yeah, this is not the first time this has happened. It happened in August of 2014. 24 people trapped.
See.
And they had to give them umbrellas because it was so hot.
Oh, okay.
To shade them from the sun. So I was saying, what if it happened here locally in Phoenix and it's 120 degrees?
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
that would be awful.
Sami was asking me earlier in the day. She says, how come we don't have an amusement park like this in Arizona?
They're building one though, right?
That's what they
claim.
But who wants to sit when it's 115 degrees out on a plastic seat?
Well, let's hope there's a water park involved.
Yeah.
That would be nice, right? A water park here would be amazing as part of that. I'm assuming we have some water parks around the area. I haven't really...
Yeah, there's 2 of them, but they're not it's not a big attraction.
Well, at least, you can probably cool off a little bit from
absolutely.
it, right? I mean, all we had in Ohio was the beach water park, which was fun,
there you go.
in Ohio. But this, out of Bowie, Maryland... I've never been to a Six Flags myself, but these are huge parks, and it looks like they did close down the surrounding area to get these. They probably had to get all of these fire trucks in here and kind of clear out the people that want to run up and take photos and stuff like that. So.
Jeez.
But someone sent a tweet to Carrie and I saying, I'm stuck up here right now, and it was just, a fake video of someone pretending to be stuck up there. So, got to give you props for almost making us believe you were up there. I'm trying to give someone on social media though who's actually up there, but I'm assuming maybe they weren't allowed to bring phones on this ride. I don't know. What do you think?
Who knows? But all I want to say is, let's hope they get some dinner tonight. Let's hope they get some. Let's hopefully they get their tickets reimbursed, they get some cash when they leave.
I'm imagining, I wonder after this you're kind of like, okay, I need a break a little bit from the roller coaster scene, or maybe, someone who loves going to the park gets right back up there the
What
next
is this
day.
called? It's called Joker's Jinx?
Joker's Jinx ride, and it's part of Gotham City, so it's sort of, Batman themed Joker's ride with the purple and the green.
Yeah, I went back home. I went to the Six Flags of the Batman ride. That's been there since like '93. This ride, and anyway, it's a cool ride because your feet dangle.
Oh, really? Oh, see, I can't handle that. I don't like that, and I think all of these really scary thoughts of what could happen.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one I went on was the Superman ride, and that one it's like you're actually flying because they invert you.
Oh my gosh.
You're like this.
Oh, you're laying down?
You're laying down.
I cannot do the laying down rides either, you guys. See, I'm kind of a baby with this. So if I were on that right now...
Would you be screaming?
I would be making a fit, I think. Well, if I were a kid, I think now I'd be fine. I'd be an adult about it. Mm-hmm. But if I were a kid, I think I probably would be crying a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Because look how you can see the seats are tilted. You kind of feel like you're almost hanging over on the side. You're pushed to your door on the side of your cart there, and you're probably feeling like, oh my gosh, if my door came fastened there or anything. Those are the thoughts that would be going through my head.
This is just what an ordeal for these riders.
And we've been streaming this for over 2 hours now, so this is pretty, or almost 2 hours, I want to say.
Yeah, it has.
About an hour and 40 minutes, and luckily it's still light out.
Yeah, luckily, but it is getting darker. You could see that Chopper there has to gain up to expose some of that light there.
And if you guys are watching on Fox 10 Phoenix, definitely, send a thumbs up or, an emoji or something to give a shout out to these first responders who are risking their lives standing on these tracks. You got to give it up to these guys.
Yeah.
Look at this.
That's a good point there.
Incredible work that
That
they have
is
to
a
do.
good point.
You think when you sign up to be a first responder, you just never know the kind of situations you're going to be facing. And this is, they still have fears. You could still be afraid of heights and be, in that line of work, and they're standing there on the roller coaster track. I would be thinking in my head, like, God forbid the coaster just starts again.
Oh, yes. Yep.
So.
Well, folks, this has been a day that I can guarantee you the riders did not think was coming. They did not think this was coming.
I hope too when it stalled, it wasn't a quick stop where it kind of jerks your neck.
Yeah.
Hopefully it wasn't like that. When you ride the old coasters, they're sort of,
Yeah. I saw somebody asked me today, are they pulling them out? What is this a ride called United?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw someone talk about that.
A lot of those comments in the chat. A lot of people still talking about that.
They wanted to know if the roller coaster was named United. Wow.
Oh, man. Yeah, a lot of people have been throwing out that joke there in the stream. And you stream that all morning. So if you guys missed that, we cover everything here. We covered the United news, and now we're covering this.
When I drive home some days, I think about all the things we've streamed just in that day. When you drive home, don't you think about all the things that happen?
Oh, on a typical day?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Because when I'm driving home, that's really the only time for me that I could really just kind of understand everything that happened.
Yeah, I would. Someone will say, "What'd you cover today?" And I'll probably remember, the major events. But if you think about it, it's, I covered a fire in Chicago.
Yeah.
I covered a car chase in Los Angeles. I covered President Trump landing in Florida. Just so many different kinds of events. So,
yeah, it's great to be here.
especially when we were covering just the election period and all the rallies every day. We had Hillary and Trump back and forth, back to back, on all these different rallies over and over.
I know.
It's crazy. So that's
and you got a show later this evening. Why don't you talk about that? For people that are watching, that are going to continue to watch all night.
Right. I have, the Jeff Flake Town Hall, which will be interesting. You showed a town hall last night, so it's kind of interesting. These town halls can be very exciting to watch because everyone is really sharing their views, and some people come in really upset and can't wait to share their opinion. So they can be kind of interesting to watch, and it should be interesting to see how Jeff Flake responds, and then possibly some protests outside too.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. We got our very own Courtney Griffin. She'll be out there.
Yes.
She'll be covering it.
She is a great reporter here at Fox 10. You guys should follow her on Twitter as well. And again, tweet us to Fox 10 News Now. That's our Twitter handle. If you guys have any comments or questions or anything you want to share, has this ever happened to you? Have you ever been stuck on a ride like this? I'd love to hear from you.
Beautiful.
Give us 1 second while we work to get some more information for you guys about this roller coaster situation. Again, you guys, this is pretty crazy stuff. 24 passengers were stuck today. They're taking them down maybe 2 by 2 here. Luckily, we thought maybe it was just going to be a situation where they had to take them down 1 by 1, but they're getting about 2 people down at a time. This ride stalled about an hour and 45 minutes ago. And so they've been up there for a long time. Think about anybody that's scared of height, anybody that has to use the bathroom. This is a long time to be stuck up there. And this is at the Six Flags in Bowie, Maryland. And this ride is called the Joker's Jinx ride in the Gotham City part of the park. So you can kind of see the theme there of the Joker theme. If anyone is a Batman fan watching right now, appreciate you guys watching as well on Fox News Now, which is our YouTube stream, and then Fox 10 Phoenix Facebook Live. Let's see if we can get a close look. It doesn't look like too many people are still up there, so they have done an excellent job today getting everybody down as quickly as possible. Again, they're really working against the clock here, trying to get these passengers down before the sun sets. And we gotta thank these first responders who do this kind of work and risk their lives. You know, these guys could be afraid of heights too. Just because they're in this line of work doesn't mean they don't have their own fears. So we have to thank them for working so hard for us today. Yeah, Diane said helicopter is going to run out of gas. Diane, you make a good point. I mean, we've been streaming this for quite some time, but luckily the helicopter that we're streaming from is sticking in there and doing a great job giving us this coverage. Let's see if we can get a look at how many people are still up there at this time. It looks like they might have gotten everybody down except for maybe one. It's hard to see. They could just be up there now trying to fix the ride at this point. They do have to get the coaster back down at some point, and you know that ride's going to be shut down for a while until they figure out what happened. You know, they don't want this to happen more than once in a month. The park knows that the news is covering this, and they try to do their best with running a park, and this sometimes just happens. Great. Now Six Flags has sent out a tweet, so this is great news. I've been checking the Six Flags DC Twitter account for quite some time, so let me just pull this up for you guys here. You can see Joker's Jinx is stalled in a safe position. All riders safe. Continuing efforts with PG County Fire. That's Prince George County for short. But again, great that the Six Flags America DC location did finally send out that tweet. You know, when this sort of thing happens, they do have to sort of get a hold of their PR person and kind of work out what kind of statement they want to make about this situation here. They know that a lot of news stations are covering this right now. So great, they said, it's stalled in a safe position. All riders are safe. So I'm assuming it looks like to me maybe there's a few people in the back. It's getting a little dark. I'm unable to see. Yep, I just saw someone move their hand. So it looks like a few people in the back there still. But thank goodness it looks like they might have gotten most of the kids down. And they're doing this all before the sun sets, completely, at least. You can see the fire truck there on the left side as well with their lights on. Probably helping, too, with lighting up there. But, these amusement parks, they stay open late, so I know that they've got some lighting situations that they can probably help out with if it gets a little too dark. Again, anybody that's just joining the stream today, 24 passengers were stuck on this ride called Joker's Jinx at the Six Flags in Bowie, Maryland. And they've gotten most of the passengers down safely, taking them down, two at a time, as fire crews bring them down in their bucket there from the ladder. And this has been going on for almost an hour and 48 minutes, I want to say. And I've been looking up tweets as well from the Six Flags Twitter account, who did tweet just moments ago saying that the ride is stalled in a safe position, all riders safe, continuing efforts with PG County Fire. And then, of course, I'm checking the County Fire Twitter account as well. They've been sending out updates saying that they wanted to remove children first and then bring the adults down. Looks like we are getting a little bit of lighting there on the roller coaster. And if any of you are new to the stream and you're wondering, well, this is Fox 10 Phoenix. Why is this streaming out of Bowie, Maryland? We have a streaming show here where us hosts bring you guys the latest information on events from all over the United States. And this is the only network-owned news show that has hosts streaming live events for you guys all over the United States, out of Washington, New York, Los Angeles, wherever it may be. We stream it, we host it, we bring you guys the latest information. So any of you wondering, about that, we do stream events here locally in Phoenix too, but a lot of events all over the U.S. And it looks like, you guys, that Chopper is now leaving the scene. It looks like they have gotten most of the passengers down. So we'll keep you guys updated if anything else happens, but it looks like everyone got down safely, so that's great news. Again, you guys, we appreciate you watching with us live here on Fox News Now, as well as Fox 10 Phoenix Facebook Live. I'm your host, Mary Kate, going to take you into the next event here in the show. And coming up next is my co-host, Mike Page, who will be taking you into the next few hours as well. Giving you a live look of the White House while I take you to the next feed. Thanks for watching, everybody.